Okay, so we're going to look at question number 6a, and this is a typical question for 3.3. This is a question that you need to know how to do, factoring fully. So we have a polynomial that looks like this, and what you're going to want to do first is to try and choose some possible factors to test. Okay, boys, if you're not going to be paying attention to this and working on your other questions, then please do that quietly. So the possible factors that you're going to want to run through are x plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 2, x minus 2, and again the list goes on. They have to be these a values over here, the 1, the 2, negative 1 and all that, have to be factors of 18. That's where you want to focus. Always a good idea to test some of these right here. Those are good ones to test. So how do we test them? Well, we're going to put the a value for each one. We're going to put those into the polynomial. 1 is an easy one to test, so I'm going to do that one first. And of course what we're looking for is a remainder of 0. If we get a remainder of 0, that means that particular binomial is a factor. So what do we get? We get 1 minus 2 minus 9 plus 18. Okay, so this doesn't look very good. This is negative 11. No, that's no good. Okay, that's not going to be 0. So you want to keep trying. Try another one. We might have to go to a little bit of a higher number here because of that 18 there. Let's try this one, x minus 2. So let's put a 2 in there. So 2 cubed minus 2 times 2 squared minus 9 times 2 and so on. Okay, so this is 8 minus 2 times 4. That's 8 minus 8 minus 18 plus 18. Oh, that looks really good. That looks like we have a 0 there. Okay? Anybody confirm that? Did I do all that math right there? It's looking to be that x minus 2 is going to be a factor. Well, that's an unrecognizable 2 there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do synthetic division to actually do this division to find out what the second factor might be. So let's do synthetic division here. We're going to use this a value that we just tested, this one here, number 2. 2 there, elongated L. We're going to put the coefficients in here, so it's going to be 1, negative 2, negative 9, and 18. Making sure that we've got 3, 2, 1, and x to the 0. That's good. Put a box underneath the 18. This is going to be a remainder in there. Drop the 1, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, 0. Okay? So what we have is we have x minus 2, we know that, and we also now have x squared, that's a 1, x squared, plus 0x, that's what that means, minus 9, which is x minus 2 times x squared minus 9. This x squared minus 9 is a difference of squares. That's easy to factor, so we can just factor that by sight. And it looks like we have x minus 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay? So now to check that, you might want to multiply all those 3 together to see if you get your original polynomial. And we'll check that answer here. Does anyone know that this is the correct answer? Can anyone confirm that with your work that you've done? Does that match up with what you guys have there? Okay, so that's the answer for 6A. All right, so this is 6C, and what we want to do is we want to test some factors that have multiple of 10. Now you said you found the first factor, right? Okay, so let's help me out. Which is the first factor that you found, and we'll just confirm that.
I just found x minus 5.
X minus 5? Okay, so let's see so A is 5 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put positive 5 in here just to make sure this works. Okay, that should be equal to 0, right, if that's a factor. So 5 cubed is 125. 27 times 5 is 120, 155, 130, 135, 135, and then plus 10. So we've got plus 135 minus 135. That's 0, correct. So x minus 5 is one of our factors. All right, switch colors here. So let's take that a value, let's pump that into synthetic division. Now, hopefully you notice that we are missing an h squared term here. So we have to put a 0 in there, right? So 1, 0. Did you do that?
No,
not quite. Okay, there you go. That's what you're missing. So we do have to add this square term, which is a 0 coefficient here. So then the minus 27 and then the positive 10, okay? So that could be, yeah, what caused the problem for you. So if we try this, the 1 goes there, multiply. Add, multiply. Add, multiply, multiply, negative 10, and 0. Okay? So I've got x minus 5 as a factor, and I also now have, this is going to be the squared term, so it's going to be x squared plus 5x minus 2. From there, you could do the same process over again, but at this point, you might be able to just factor that trinomial. So x minus 5 times, okay, actually, is this going to be factorable? We need two numbers that multiply to negative 2 and add to 5. So the only factors for 2 are 2 and 1. Is there any way that 2 plus 1 can add up to 5? No. So it looks like this is prime here, which means that you can't factor it anymore. So whoops, this looks like that might be your answer. Now if we've done everything else correctly up to that point, that might be where we have to stop. So let's just double check that. Okay, so that is the correct answer, although in my brain I just defaulted to an x term there, which of course this should be h, okay? So other than that, we do have the right answer here. So h squared, and 5h there. All right, that's 6a and 6c for 3.3.